2 years ago, I started reading a lot of books, especially the 19th century classics, and I fell in love with writing and reading, and I decided to write my own stories. At first, when I wrote my stories, it were a mix of my own experiences and all the books that I was reading at the moment. So I was basically copying their style, and to me, they were wonderful stories. They were masterpieces until until I started to read more. I was well read, and I was comparing my stories with whatever I was reading, and I realized that I was shit. And so it was a bit discouraging. Okay, no problem, my works are not masterpieces yet, but if I continue this, I might get better at it. So after maybe 6 to 7 months of just writing and rewriting and analyzing, looking for mistakes, and after all that, I still considered my writing to be bad, and it was discouraging. And because of it, I thought of not writing anymore because I was afraid that whatever I'm gonna write in the future is I won't be satisfied with it, with the final product. So I didn't give up writing, but postponed the schedule. I left off whatever story I was writing, and did some other things, mainly procrastinating and reading other people's books because I was afraid of facing my own work. So that fear and procrastination that followed really brought about this epiphany. Like, after all this procrastination and gathering up knowledge about the craft of writing, I finally wrote my first story that I was really satisfied with. It wasn't good, but it was better than all the stories that I had written before. I hadn't copied anyone's style, and the story was set in where I live. And overall, the whole structure of the story was fine. No, no pacing, no weird pacing, and all the characters and dialogues were like crisp. It seemed as if I didn't write that story. I was just the instrument, just writing that, discovering the story. And after that, I really started to think that I should do more of these stories, and I did. In all of them, I was satisfied with all of them, enjoyed writing them. So before, I was afraid to sit and write for 30 minutes. But now, I was writing like 4 to 5 hours non-stop. I was addicted to it. And before that, what happened was that I really wanted to give up and didn't want to continue this writing thing. But because I pushed through, because I kept writing, even if it was one line, two line, or one page of journaling, I continued and analyzed my work and read more. I was I got myself out of that learning curve where at first you're inspired, as I was, by reading books, and do what you're gonna do, and once you realize that you're shit, that you want to give up. So the lesson here is that I wanted to give up not because I didn't like doing that. I was afraid of facing my own mistakes, afraid of failing basically, because I wasn't good at it. I was incompetent, and I was afraid of seeing myself fail. I wasn't skilled enough. That's why I was afraid of making things, completing a story that at the end I'd be like, did I waste my time? So how do we solve that? You just keep pushing. Maybe you don't give up, you just keep going at it. Here's another example. Because of the coronavirus, most of the schools here were shut down, and my little sister, who was admitted last year, this was her second year of going to school, and because of it, she had to study at home, and I helped her with most of the subjects, and she liked doing other stuff, like the art stuff, drawing, coloring shit, and English alphabets. I taught her the vowels. But when it came to math, just adding and minusing stuff, she was really scared to do those because she at first she didn't know, but even though I taught her, she was scared to do it because every time she solved a sum, plus or minus some things, she would make a lot of mistakes, and because of it she was scared to make mistakes. And every time I called her and said, come here and solve this math problem, she was making excuse, and no, I don't want to do that, give me English homeworks, even though she was still at home. So she was basically running away from the math problems because they were hard for her. She was afraid of making mistakes. But I was persistent that she would solve math, do some sum, even one sum a day or two, or otherwise I wouldn't let her be on YouTube because she watched a lot of YouTube Kids, a lot of stories on there, and I kept pushing her to solve more sums, even though to her disdain, and she kept solving, and 1 year later, she loves solving math problems. And I think she gets dopamine from solving each one because now she doesn't make as much mistakes. She's doing good at it, that's why. The point I'm trying to make is, when you reach a point where you want to give up because you're not good at it, you're not skilled, you should push through it, find out what your mistakes are. But once you push through that, you will enjoy it. The story of this YouTube channel, I started it because I enjoyed watching other people on YouTube, and at first it was fun. I loved editing stuff, making videos about anything I liked. But then 2 weeks ago, I reached a point where I was thinking of quitting because not a lot of my videos were not getting views. Because of it, I was discouraged, and I was also copying some other content creators. But after thinking about all of these things, I'm sure that if I continue doing this, even if I do it consistently, post a video once a week or once every 2 weeks, then I think I'll push through that learning curve where everything sucks, and finally I'll be able to produce something good. And after that, maybe get addicted to it as I did, as I was addicted to writing after I was a bit competent, when I had a proper grasp of what this craft was all about. Hopefully you got something from this video and enjoyed it. And if you did, subscribe. It would give me a lot of encouragement to keep making videos, and I'll see you in the next one.